Are you one of the millions of golfers out there that lack power, that don't compress the ball properly? If so, I want to show you a couple of very simple, easy little drills here today and one good thought or visualization to help improve your power, help you to compress the ball ultimately as well as you can, and start hitting the best shots of your life. Now, why is it that you lack power? Why is it that you don't compress the ball as effectively as you could? All too often, I see it here on a daily basis in my training studio here in Auburn Hills, Michigan, or with players around the world that I work with remotely via the V1 Swing app, are downswings that lack proper body motion, therefore essentially more of an upper body, arms only swing. Now, we might be able to muscle through the shot, so to speak, utilizing just the upper body, but we are not using the upper body and lower body, the blending of the two, like all these tour pros do. So ultimately, we need to improve your body motion. It's no different than any other sport. Let's say baseball or throwing a rock or a snowball. You'll see the player that will move and shift weight inevitably away from the target initially as they're loading into their trail side. As a right-handed golfer like myself, it's my right side. I'm working away from the target, and then from there, everything is unwinding and unloading towards the target. We need to get the weight off this trail side for power and efficiency, because currently in your swing, that is desperately lacking.
So it's almost like loading a golf swing, loading a baseball swing, or a slap shot.
Now, one of the easiest things I have ever given to my students is something as simple as this. I will often say, on the way down, as you're working into impact, feel like your right knee, the trail knee, is quote unquote hitting the ball. Now, I don't mean where the right knee is kicking out this way, hitting the ball. What I mean is where this right knee is working in, down towards the ball, ultimately towards the target. Now, to see that hit the ball with your right knee scenario from this down the line view, you can clearly see that as I work down, this right knee is moving and shifting. Ultimately, the weight is moving off the right side, the right foot is rolling inward, the ankle is rolling inward, the heel starts to come off the ground. We need that. Again, it's no different than any other sport, in particular something where we're throwing the ball, baseball, football, whatever it may be. So next time you go to hit balls, try to limit your thoughts, because that's something I hear daily from students. I will often ask them, what is it that maybe you're thinking about as you're over the ball? And I will often get essentially a paragraph of thoughts. That is complete and total overload. Nobody, and I mean nobody, can handle that when the typical golf swing takes about 2 seconds. Now, if the golf swing took 2 minutes, sure, I could have a checklist of numerous things, and I could have a paragraph of swing thoughts. But I have always suggested to my students, we need to essentially have less is more type of concept, where you could have only one word or one thought or one visual to help trigger whatever it is you're working on in your swing. In this case, the hit the ball with your right knee, maybe you just have a thought, knee, meaning I want to get that right knee moving and shifting towards the target, which helps get the hips to turn and rotate more open. It just gets the body turning and rotating more properly. Again, a lot more efficient for power, speed, and compression of the golf ball. So before I show you these two very simple little drills, just to reiterate, next time you go to hit balls, keep it simple. Perhaps think knee. So what you're trying to do is ultimately get the right knee to feel as if it's going to work this way. This way, it's going to engage the hips. It's going to get you to turn and rotate more open. Because too many of you, and I hear it every day, you tell me, I sit behind a desk all day. I never work out. I had my knee replaced. I had a hip replaced. I hear all these different things. Now, I know those aren't excuses, but what I know is you can ultimately get so much more out of your swing than what you typically think you can. And I have literally done just that, what I was referring to earlier as far as throwing a ball or an object. If you were to just simply throw the ball, you're going to see this unloading and turning and rotating of the body. So, next time you go to hit some balls, just have one thought. In this case, knee. And let's see what can happen. Let's see if we can generate a little more rotation, a little bit more speed into impact, and hopefully catch ball first, then take the divot. Too many of you hitting it fat where you're catching ground first, then the ball. Not ideal. Let's give it a shot. My only thought here, knee. Not too bad, peeled a little to the right. I just didn't square the face enough, but I felt the compression off the ball. I felt the rotation of the body. Now, one of the easiest ways to help encourage better rotation of the body, to get the lower body turning and rotating and moving towards the target much more effectively, is an impact bag. Now, ideally, you would have this set against a wall. So when you hit this at about 50% of your power, not full blast. I tell students all the time, this is not a how hard can I hit the bag and win a prize type of thing. It's not that at all. It's just how efficiently and effectively you can work into impact with better body motion. As you get set to this, your goal is to strike the bag first. In this case, there is no ground interaction with the club head. So I typically get this positioned inside my left heel like this, essentially like a driver or a tee shot. The reason for that is it kind of incentivizes me to move forward to go get the bag, so to speak. I have seen too often where students get this bag, the edge of it here, that's basically in the middle of their stance. And again, in that case, it's not incentivizing me to move and shift forward. So as I position this off the left heel, I can have the club on the ground, or I can hover it above the ground a little bit. Totally depends on how you want to do it. There's not a right way or a wrong way in regards to setting up to it here. But as you get set ready to go, again, you may have that thought of knee. You're almost trying to hit the bag in this case with the right knee to engage the lower body, get the weight moving and shifting, turning in the direction of the target. So hitting the impact bag would look like this. And if you were to see yourself in this position, and again, when this is against a wall, it's obviously not going to move forward on you, but you can see in this position, look at how I've worked off the right side, and I've absolutely engaged the lower body and the proper rotation of the body. Because one of the primary faults that I see from the lack of turning and rotating and shifting on the way down into impact, what then happens is the shaft coming down is typically too steep. So what I mean by that is when somebody is coming down and there is not enough turn and rotation and the weight getting off this trail side, what tends to happen is the upper body is unwinding, the arms and club pitch out in front of us this way, and the shaft ultimately cuts across from outside in. Again, it's too much arms and upper body. When you see all those pros on TV, they are absolutely turning and rotating the entire body, the upper and the lower body. It's the blending of that beautiful body rotation with their club being on plane, typically also with a square club face at impact, and it's no wonder why they're on TV making millions of dollars every year. So do yourself a favor. Next time you go to hit balls, keep it simple. I can't stress that enough. Keep it simple. Have one word or one visualization to help trigger whatever it is you're trying to do in your golf swing. Give that knee thought a try the next time you hit balls. Actually go somewhere and literally throw a golf ball at your simulator screen or throw it out into the range or in the backyard, and just you'll see the proper, better body rotation. That's something I've been doing with students for well over 30 years now. And I promise you, of all the times I have ever done that with any student, young kids, elderly people, male, female, doesn't matter. I have always seen better, proper body rotation. Even for somebody that has come down with too much upper body like this, let's say, zero rotation here. The moment I have them throw a ball, instantaneously the body motion improves. Whether it is the right knee, the trail knee, throwing a ball, an object, or the impact bag. Those 3 simple, easy things will absolutely help better your body motion, and I guarantee you're going to start to compress the ball better and hit better shots.